Hello and welcome to Anime-Zing Radio here on YouTube. I'm your host, Doug Engler. Joining me in the co-host seat, as always, is our good friend, Mr. Darren Starling.
Yellow.
Tonight, we're brought to you by Home Circle Media for the latest and greatest in anime gear, everything from pens, pencils, stationery, and officially licensed art books. Be sure to check out homecirclemedia.com today or look for them at an upcoming convention near you. We're also brought to you tonight by Casey Fox. For all of your artwork, cosplay, and commission needs, be sure to check out Casey Fox on Facebook and Instagram. To find him, just search KAYCIFOXX. And we're also brought to you tonight by Darren's Landscaping Company.
If you're in the Triangle area, look up Triple S Lawn Care on Facebook and give me a call.
Tonight we're doing a special show. We're going to be taking a look back at the year that was 2021 for both anime and for Anime-Zing Radio. We've had quite a crazy year show-wise. I know we started off way back in January reviewing all the 2020 animes and things of that nature. We also tried to do a look ahead show of some of the stuff that we had planned on doing for 2021. Some things we didn't accomplish, including getting more sponsorship, things like that. I did reach out to a few places, but got declined. It happens, but it just takes one to really get your foot in the door and to really take off. We did have a big change this year. We switched networks. We said goodbye to Blog Talk at the end of July, and August 1st, we officially started solely streaming on YouTube. And I think we made the right decision on that, Darren. What do you think?
I think so too. I think opening the door to more engagement, because that was something that was difficult with Blog Talk. A little too much effort to sign up for a service just to be able to interact with the show versus something that pretty much everyone has already.
Yeah, we've heard a lot of positive feedback about the Switch and everything, and we're easier to find being on YouTube. Blog Talk, there was a lot of people who did not want to just subscribe to come on to watch or listen to us and stuff. Plus, having the video helps. I show off the figures I get, including the Megamine figure that you see here, just purchased last weekend. So this is the newest addition to our figure collection. As I was telling Darren before the show, this is Megamine figure number 3. I don't like Megamine at all. No. And we've had some a lot of fun this year. This year is very trying for Anime-Zing Radio. And Darren, I'm sure you can attest to that. We found times where we were struggling to find guests. We had many, many shows that we did top 10 lists or filled up the shows with just some random nonsense.
Oh, yeah.
But those shows were actually a lot of fun. What was some of your highlights from our top 10 shows?
Probably the fact that you keep the top 10 lists that I make on the fly, and I don't.
I would never. I don't think I have a notebook here that's got like 5 or 6 of the lists that we did. Never. Top 10 underrated. There's that list. I forget. I'm not even going to go top 10 favorite male characters. How old is this character? We played that game.
Yep. That I somehow managed to get one of the oldest characters right during the game, but the other night I somehow screwed it up.
I remember that. Another top 10 we did was top 10 high school based anime.
Mm-hmm.
Which that one surprised me when you didn't include DxD in that.
Ironic considering high school is literally in the name of it. However, if we were going around high school themed anime, like actually revolves around a school setting, yes, that's good, but it's more outside of school after season one. Just saying.
Oh yeah, and 2021 we also branched out into a different direction, stuff that we hadn't normally done uh, too much before, and we started reaching out to some international fans, including Mario Tanaka. It's great to see you in the chat room tonight. Mario's come on the show, as well as Sophia Copen. We've branched out to some UK listeners and tried to learn a little bit about what the anime scene was like in other countries. Because, Darren, you and I know what the US is like when it comes to what we can find for anime, streaming, merchandise, stuff like that. But we don't really have the chance to travel to other countries. So it was a lot of fun to start branching out to, outside of the US to find out what the world was like for anime elsewhere.
And it's also nice to know we have international fans.
It is. And we love everybody who has supported us throughout the years, whether tonight's your first show or you've been with us since the start back on April 6th, 2014. I still remember that date. I still remember the show. And we've undergone lots of changes since then, but definitely looking forward to what 2022 is going to be bringing. Definitely hoping for some good stuff for AZR in 22. Including, we're going to try to get Darren to start doing some tables for the show too, down in the Carolinas.
Okay, news to me, but I'm game.
He's like, wait, when did that happen?
Screw it. I'll just roll with
it. He's like, I'll just go with it. That's how I normally do the show. Some of the guests that we've had this year, and I want to take a moment to thank everybody who has come on the show as a guest this year. Starting way back in January, and like I said, I keep a notebook with every guest that has been on the show since we switched to Blog Talk. I have a calendar from back in the hazy days, but I am missing like 3/4 of the second year. And but a big thank you to Michael Doss, who came on the show. First time voice actress guest Amanda Gish joined us back in January. Of course, Mario had come on. February 6th, we did a special Saturday show where we had an interview with Monica Rial. Remember that one, Darren?
Yes, that was the day I got in a lot of trouble.
Sorry. Did he get in trouble because of us, or?
No, basically counting money, made a mistake, caught my mistake. However, didn't go about the proper procedure for fixing said mistake. And so if the mistake hadn't happened in the first place, yeah, boss man was not happy.
Taj Mitchell joined us on the 7th. We welcome back some old friends, including Ben Santos from Cosplay Convention Center. We hadn't talked to him in a while. Brad from Color World Books had come on back in February. Matthew Russell had come on. Marissa Lenti came on. I think that was shortly after Kuma Bear I watched that, and I fanboyed hard having the voice of Yuna on the show. I won't lie, I fanboyed really hard because I loved that show. Back in April, we celebrated 7 years. Can you believe that we celebrated 7 years this year? We're getting ready to go on to 8 in April coming up.
Yay.
Back on our anniversary show, we had Michaela Krotz come back. It had been a long time since we had talked with her. And we were also joined by Danny Chambers. And then we started running into the times when we were having trouble bringing on new guests because we realized not getting out to conventions, we weren't finding new cosplayers, we weren't finding new artists and creators and stuff. And we didn't want to have it be, as much as we love talking with the voice actors, we started the show focusing in on like the local heroes, the local cosplayers, artists, musicians, gamers, stuff of that nature. And we didn't want to fully get away from that. So we did a a winter 2021 review show, followed by a spring 21 preview show. That ended up going into top 10 high school anime. Back in May, we had Gavin come on. Then we had a few weeks where we had no guests joining us, so we did a lot of top 10 lists. Our old friend Julia Coelho came back on with us, and it's always a treat when Julia comes on.
Oh, yes, because what just happened? Oh, wait. She probably said something. She opened her mouth, therefore she opened her mouth and there was laughter.
Pretty much. It was like, wait, we ended up having a top 10 underrated shows. We had a show talking about annoying fan bases, which, ironically enough, I just saw a post on Facebook about somebody who made a negative comment about a certain anime and had people insulting not just him, but his family as well, he said. It's like, interesting. And then somebody in the comments actually nailed what fan base it was that went after, making fun of his family. We then had Rusty Gilligan come back on the show. He's joined us multiple times this year, and it's always fun talking with Rusty. Then we had a chaotic show. And by a chaotic show, we welcomed our friends from the Chaotic Goodcast over on Victory Condition Gaming's YouTube channel. We had Douglas Shute, Ben Higgins. Actually, no, Ben Higgins was there. Barney Smith was there. Jason Hunt did not make it. Amanda Call did. July 4th, we didn't do a show because of the holiday and we were traveling. Then we were joined by Megan Shipman and then Lindsay Shepard. So it was the first time that we had Lindsay on the show. And then we had our finale, our farewell show to Blog Talk Radio, which was our Mashu Mairesh special. And I know, Darren, you still haven't had a chance to watch Mashu Mairesh.
No, I have not.
And being a part of the show where we got to interview all four girls that are pictured behind us, and the director, what was your opinion of the chaos that ensued?
Unfortunately, I think I fell asleep fairly early on that one because I had a really rough week. But it was nice having that many people on. Because you never know what was going to get said or what they would dig up.
Oh, yeah. And Mario says, Darren, you still haven't watched it yet? Give it a break.
Mario. It's called, have you ever tried making money? It doesn't allow for a lot of downtime.
It really doesn't. And, we then switched to YouTube, where our first show on YouTube was a look back at the history of Anime-Zing Radio, how we started, why we started doing the show and everything. Then August 8th, we welcomed back our friend Mario Bueno. Hatake and Sahara came on, and then we were joined by our first artist guest was Karen Goslin, and then our highest watched show to date, since we started over on YouTube, Bryn April, we had an amazing turnout for that. That show has gotten a ton of views. I don't even remember how many views total it's gotten. I could probably look that up real quick. But that is definitely one of our highest watched shows. And I've got to scroll back through everything here. 448 views with Bryn. So big thank you to everybody who enjoyed that and came out to enjoy the show with us. And September 12th, we returned to our first convention. We went to Kineticon. Shortly after that, we did a Kineticon review show. We were able to also upload some interviews that we did at the convention, some of the video footage that we had taken. And a big thank you to Darren. We had a lot of fun at the convention, and wish that Darren could join us for that.
One day.
One day we will kidnap him and bring him to a New England con.
Please do.
Then, September 19th, we welcomed back Macy Ann Johnson to the show, followed by Anthony Bowling's return. It was the first time that we got to, after all the years of Anthony coming on the show, we finally got to see each other face to face, via cameras. But it was fun to get a chance to chat with them and, actually get to see them for once. I think that's part of the fun of switching to YouTube is we can see our guests now.
Oh, yeah. You can't hide from the camera anymore, but yet I still find myself hiding from the camera.
Well, I mean, I could, but I choose not to. I show off the figures. Every now and then you show off your figure.
Not that figure. I show off my figures, not my figure.
And then we had Sophia Copen from the UK came on with us, and it was a lot of fun chatting with her. I know that she stayed up really late for that show, and we appreciate how late you guys stay up in the UK to watch us and to tune in. And it blows my mind the dedication some of our fans have. Really, like I said, it means the world to me. Then we had October 10th was a open show where I think because we had God's Will and Mario, but that was, I think, Anime NYC or New York Comic Con, something like that was going on that weekend, and they both were there, so they both weren't able to join us.
Correct. And I think we had one of your friends come on because you basically put something out as to who's available, and someone commented, "I am." And then who do we have?
No, that one I think was an open night show.
I could have swore you brought somebody on for that.
That was a different show that I did that, and that was when we had Rusty Gilligan and Jay Morris come on.
I thought it was that one for some reason.
And then we had our Dragon Maid special back on October 17th, where we were joined by Christy Rothrock and Rachel Glass. That was our introduction to both of those talented young ladies, and had a lot of fun chatting with the voices of Ilulu and Elma.
Yes, nice to have some of the side characters every now and then, even if they are technically main cast.
And I like finding the up-and-coming, the lesser-named voice actors, because they work just as hard as the big names. They just haven't had as many breaks or been in the industry as long. And now you have so many new names, so many new faces that are fighting for shows that back when we first started getting into anime and stuff, every anime you could find would have Monica Rial, Todd Haberkorn, J. Michael Tatum, Christopher Bevan. The list went on and on of the big names that were in everything. Now they're opening the doors and bringing in all of these new people. Giovanni Cruz, Emmy Lowe, and so on and so forth. Macy Ann Johnson, just to name a few. And it's nice to see the new names coming out.
And ironically, while watching a rerun episode of Wipeout the other day, there was one of the anime voice actors, even though he didn't have a whole lot of roles, he actually participated in it. And I think made it to round 3 before finally, I think he fell just short of the Wipeout zone.
Wow. And a question that came in from the chat room, Mario wants to know, what was your favorite show you hosted this year, excluding the Show by Rock special, which, Mario knows me too well. He'd be like, Show by Rock special? No. But we had a lot of fun shows this year. What was your favorite show that we did this year?
Good question. Which show did I get the most involved in is the real question.
You got pretty involved in a few of them. When God's Will and them, uh, when God's Will and Mario were on the show, you were very interactive in that one. You were
Then
all the top 10 shows you were a part of for the whole night.
and then also, of course, Matt, because being my friend, and also the fact that you made me the host for that show.
Yep. And even last week with Tico, you were very active talking with Tico, especially martial arts and a lot of different things.
Mm, yeah, for
You
the
stayed
fact
awake
that
the whole show.
well, I'll say this: I have a background in martial arts per se, because I used to do stuff like go punching or kicking something randomly when I was younger. Just kind of I don't know if I was imitating the Ninja Turtles or something, but I was doing something, and my parents were like, we're gonna sign you up for Taekwondo or something." And one of the demonstrations in the mall, they used to, you know how every now
Yep.
and then you'd have various things of trying to promote their businesses. Well, I think they saw something in the mall, ended up talking to one of them, and found out that there was a studio right here in town, and they ended up signing me up. At first, I was against it, but there was some fun stuff that went along with it. Um, Great community, but toward the end, as I was saying, I think the owner cared a little bit more about the money than he did actually teaching what he was teaching a lot of the stuff. Just a
Yeah.
personal opinion.
And it's sad to that things usually go that way, but
Hmm.
for me, I would have to say I think one of my favorite shows this year, and God, we've had a lot of good shows. And I'm looking back, and of course, you got to take out the show by Rock Mashima because Mario won't let me say that one.
Hmm.
But I
I'm actually, for me, I'm gonna say the Dragon Maid special was one of my favorites. Even though I think I did fall asleep halfway early, it was nice having people from a very good series on there. And I can't remember how interactive I was in there, but it was interesting hearing about a lot of the stuff they did.
oh yeah, and looking back, and I almost want to say that one of the funnest shows. And I love everybody who has come on the show. Really appreciate the time that everybody spends to come on with us. And I want to say the Bryn April show, our first voice actor since when we switched over to YouTube, and just how welcoming and happy she was to be a part of the show. Um, and you can tell that like there was a lot of interaction there. That we had an active chat room, which is I love when the chat room's active. I love seeing the people in there talking, asking questions. We do monitor the chat during the show, and I see more questions popping up, so I'll get to those in just a minute. But I want to say the Burn April show because that really opened my eyes to the potential of what YouTube could do for us.
I have to say, definitely something we should have done many years ago. Maybe we'd have several thousand by now.
I look back and go, man, I should have, if I had made this jump when we left Hazy Radio and went to YouTube instead of Blog Talk, we might be making money, and neither of us have to have jobs because this would be our job. But
Hmm. One day, Doug, because if anything, I would probably do this in my landscaping business and quit the other one altogether.
I'm still waiting for you to tell them to say goodbye. And
Well, if they keep cutting my hours, because I was the one cutting hours when I actually had work, well, now they're cutting my hours when I don't have the work, and it's starting to get under my skin. But I guess it's kind of a good thing because it's motivating me to find stuff to do in my field to, to keep me busy throughout the winter. So that's good.
oh yeah, and Trisha asks, how long have you been doing your radio show? We start. That's interesting question. When you look at Anime-Zing Radio, we started back April 6th of 2014 was our first official episode. There was 6 months of planning that went into organizing everything, including finding a time slot on Hazy, figuring out guests. What kind of subject matter did we want to talk about? Did we want to have it be strictly anime? Did we want it to go to some pop culture stuff? Knowing that we were hitting a lot of Comic-Cons at the time, we wanted to branch out into the art world and comics world because that does have an interaction with the anime side of things. In the US, we have the comics. In Japan, there's a lot of manga and stuff, which is similar but different, especially in art styles and things. But it's still an animated comic in book form, basically. I think I said that how I wanted to. I think Darren can help me out with that.
Help you out with what? Sorry, I got sidetracked.
Trying to explain the similarity between a comic book and a manga, aside from the fact one's American and one is Japanese. Or
A comic book you read from left to right. A manga you read from right to left.
And that's pretty. And aside from the language, that's pretty much the big difference, I think.
Mm-hmm. Also, a manga is probably a lot thicker and has a lot more panels.
Yeah, I think so. But that was way back when we first started it and figuring everything out. And I'll tell you what, I never dreamed that we'd be closing in on 8 years. Never in a million years. But that was a look back. We spent the first 30 minutes looking back at what we did for the show for Anime-Zing Radio. We talked a lot early on, Darren, earlier on this year about how disappointing 2020 was for anime. And it had a lot of potential, but then the pandemic hit. A lot of stuff happened, which put a lot of animes, on the back burner. Production slowed down for obvious reasons. People couldn't work. They couldn't get to the studio to record. And of course, the pandemic was, worldwide, and you couldn't dub something if it wasn't getting produced in Japan and whatnot. So it slowed down. And then once they figured out a way of starting to record again safely and stuff, man, did 2021 start off with a bang. Looking back, thanks to the My Anime List Winter 2021 page, you had titles like Horimiya, Dr. Stone Wars came out, Slime came back with season 2, Wonder Egg Priority, which had, I haven't seen Wonder Egg, but I've heard so many good things about that. Slime was fantastic. Unfortunately, I haven't caught up with that yet, with the second part of season 2, because I've had so much other stuff going on. ReZero second season part 2 came back out at the start of the year. So I'm a Spider, so what? I know you enjoyed that one.
Most definitely. I need that to get a continuation. But also, redo of Healer.
Yep.
The show that who's had several scenes that made let's see, it was interspecies reviewers look like a joke. And then also you had the finale for the quintessential quintuplets, which still need to watch the second season of.
I never finished the first. I lost interest.
Then you had Cells at Work season 2, and then you had Cells at Work Code Black, which was basically Cells at Work just in an unhealthy body. Then you had the last, if a kid from the last dungeon boonies moved to a starter town.
That was really good. I really enjoyed that one. One that kind of slipped by me when it first came out, and only because I got a shirt for the show, I went back and rewatched it from one of the anime crates. The Hidden Dungeon Only I Can Enter. That was surprisingly good, and basically it was a more perverted version of Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? That's the best way I can describe it. It'd be like if Belle Cornell actually was, had enough balls to make moves on women.
Mhm. And then let's see what else. Oh
World
yeah,
Trigger.
Uma Musume, the horse girl anime. Um, wow, that actually has a fairly high rating. Got an 8.
Yeah, that does have an 8 on there. I still haven't seen that one yet. What was some of the other ones that we were watching?
Go by Rock Stars, World Witches.
Yeah, I did watch the World Witches one. That one was kind of iffy. It could have been a little bit better. Show by Rock Stars. Everybody knows how much I love that, and thank you to Giovanni Cruz for letting us know that is getting dubbed. I can't wait for that to come out because I know it's going to be amazing. She just didn't say who was directing it because she couldn't. Please have it be Megan again. No offense to Caitlin Glass, who did an amazing job with the original Show by Rock, but I love the direction that Megan took Show by Rock Mashimai Resh, and Show by Rock Stars is basically a combination where all the bands that had been introduced in the franchise to this point come together. And of course, you had the continuation of shows like One Piece, Jujutsu Kaisen, Boruto, Detective Conan, Shin-Chan, yada, yada, yada. And we're not going to go through and, say which ones were our favorites from what seasons and stuff, because we did that already on the previous shows. But it was fun to go back and, look back and be like, oh, well, this came out then. Wow. Just remembering what happened and what shows came out when. Then we got into the spring season, which I think had some of your favorite shows from the 2021 to come out, including My Hero Academia 5th season.
Great.
Now the one that I know, Darren, you really enjoyed was Nagatoro.
Oh yes,
Please don't bully me.
Nagatoro-san. Yep.
I know you really enjoyed that one.
Bye.
And then you had is it How Not to Summon a Demon Lord season 2 came out, which basically started out as boobs. Episode 1 of season 2. I'm watching it. I'm like, am I watching the right show? This doesn't really look right. And all of a sudden, here comes Diablo falling from the sky. It's like, oh, nope, this is the right show. Okay. You had the finale of Fruits Basket that came out. Oh, God, I know the name of this. Why can I not remember the English title? And it's going to be...
Slimes for 300 years?
No, Combatants Will Be Dispatched. Which I was late to the party on that one. It was only after basically Anthony Bowling yelling at me for not having watched it, knowing that I'm into the genre, that I went back and watched it and found a new best girl, which, we'll be talking with the voice of Rose on Saturday night when we welcome back Christy Rothrock to the show. But Killing Slimes for 300 Years, that show was adorable. That was one of those shows that you're watching, you're like, my God, could it get any cuter? And they introduce another adorable character. And that was another show that continued the trend of like adorable Demon Lord characters. Did you notice that trend too? That they had a lot of shows where the demon lords would come out and they were these cute little characters, whether they're male or female. They were just adorable characters.
Yep.
Because how not to summon a demon lord? You had Krebskull, which was an adorable, like childlike one. The cute little one that came out as slime, and there was I think two or three more.
Mm-hmm.
You had Slime Diaries, which you talked highly of. You enjoyed the Slime Diaries.
Yep. It was nice little side stories to the actual main series.
Odd Taxi, I heard a lot of good things about Odd Taxi. I never watched it, but I did hear a lot of good stuff. The Return of Zombieland Saga came back out this year as well. Surprisingly, I have not watched that yet.
And don't feel bad, neither have I. And then for me, because I'm a rom-com hopeless, the rom-com where the childhood friend won't lose. That was an okay show.
Did that meet your expectations or did it fall short?
Kind of in between, really. It didn't meet them, but it didn't exactly fail them either.
I will say one of the hidden jewels of 2021, the whole year. This would be one of the hidden jewels if we did a top 10 list. This would definitely be on my list for a hidden jewel, and that is the Saint's magic power is omnipotent. You remember how much I talked up Snow White with the red hair?
Mm-hmm.
I put this on that level. Like the storyline was great. The characters were a lot of fun. You really like you can see the romance building in this, and it's like you need a second season so that the two characters can actually get together. Because spoiler alert, in season 1, they don't officially get together, even though you see them go out on dates and things of that nature. And it is a flip table anime because you root for them to do stuff and nothing happens. And that just makes you be like, rah! Then continuing on, trying to find more titles that I remember. One of the more annoying shows from the spring was The Dragon Goes House Hunting. I'm sorry, I tried watching it in Japanese and in English, and I could not get beyond 3 episodes. The main character was just too whiny. And the main character is a dragon, but he is... This dragon is such a wuss, he makes Deku look good.
Impressive.
And those of you know my feelings on Deku. Trying to look through, I think that was about it for some of the most notables that you or I watched from the spring anime season.
I would say so.
And then it kind of started to peter out. I noticed that after starting the year off strong, watching, I think between 10 and 15 animes in the first 2 seasons of 2021, summer I kind of lost interest because I was like, there's not a ton of stuff out there that I want to watch. I started rewatching other things. You know, the best show to come out in summer of 2021, in my opinion, and you know, it could be controversial, but I think Darren will agree with me that this is one of the best shows of 2021, and that's the return of Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid.
Yes, I can agree to that. But coming right neck and neck with it, just about, is Slime Season 2. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I have not seen Season 2 Part 2. Season 2 Part 1 was phenomenal, so I can just imagine. I have not had a chance to, with everything that has gone on in my life recently, and my wife's work schedule, we have not had a chance to really sit down and get back to that. Um, and I only recently started watching Girlfriend, which, my God, we got into a discussion before the show about who best girl was in this, because Darren and I have seen it in its entirety. And if you haven't seen Girlfriend yet, check it out. Just forewarning, the main character is
He makes he makes Ichika look bearable.
And we've said for a while that Ichika from Infinite Stratos is just the biggest moron, like pansy, whatever, when it comes to the fact that he's got all these girls after him. This main character is annoying for a whole different reason. This guy tries too hard to please everybody.
And on top of that, he's very vocal about it. He doesn't know how to keep his mouth shut.
Which in turn gets his butt kicked by his girlfriend, one of them, on a regular basis.
And unfortunately, in my opinion, she doesn't do it enough.
Which I can kind of agree, because, my God, he was annoying. It's a good thing that you had some comedy in there, and Darren and I were trying to figure out who best girl from that series was, and it's like, okay, rewatching it with my wife. She likes the blue-haired girl. I like the blue-haired girl. Blondie, you give some credit for her persistence, but I love the redheads, but I just cannot go for the redhead in this one.
I can almost agree with you. Actually, I think I'm gonna go Blondie on that one. Just for the fact she's actually giving the effort, and I can kind of relate to her.
And then this show, I watched it fully in Japanese, and I'm rewatching it again being English dubbed, and it's reminding me how good of a show this really is. And it's called How a Realist Hero Rebuilt the Kingdom.
That's getting a season 2, by the way.
I am so happy to hear that, because this show is phenomenal, in my opinion. Yes, it's another isekai, which I know right away, if you hear isekai, a lot of people shut it right off. Nope, don't want to pay attention. It's just going to be another stupid Hera, blah, 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 blah. This show has been unbelievably good. With, yes, it's an isekai. The hero gets summoned into a world, but instead of going out and being an overpowered maniac that can go out, snap his finger and he defeats level 5,000 bosses and yada, yada, yada. This guy is given basically full reign of the country. The king steps down, putting everything on this guy's shoulders. So he becomes the acting king of a country that is small, struggling for food, struggling for economy, struggling all sorts of stuff.
My friend, and I was telling you before, my employee at work hyped this light novel up, and I have been meaning to check it out, and just like so many others, no time.
And it's like, even watching it in English, it's like, man, I can't wait for the next episode to come out. And I was like that when it was in Japanese. It's just so good to see how, and he takes his, Japanese knowledge and implies it in this world of fantasy and things of that nature, which I know recently we saw, one of the AndyTuber doing a preview of upcoming shows, and he made the comment of, can't we just have a nice fantasy anime that's not an isekai? Which I'm at the point now, I agree. But this one actually takes the isekai and puts it into use. It takes the character from another world and has him use his knowledge to build an economy, to try to, bring worlds together and things of that nature. And it just is it's mind-blowing how thought-provoking this anime is, especially where the things that happen in the anime, and I haven't seen the light novel, but watching the anime makes me want to get the light novel because I want to see how intricate it is. Because we know animes usually are condensed versions of what the light novels are. They can't put everything that's in a light novel or a manga into a 24 episode anime. So I really want to check that out because this show, it's blown my mind how good it is. And I'm so happy that I took the time because this wasn't a show that I probably would have watched if it weren't for seeing a cute, white-haired girl with ears. So it turned out to be so much better than expected. And then we saw the next top tier waifu, Lolly.
Hold on. To be fair, you technically watched a show where someone from another world used their experience to build an economy and basically build a whole town. The
Yeah,
only
with
difference
slime.
is a slime. Exactly. Only difference is, yes, he is slightly on the overpowered and both physically and thought-provokingly, yes.
But that's what sets this one apart is this guy doesn't have any extreme powers.
I know. It's just the you get two similar shows. Just one relies more kind of on the powers. The other one is pure knowledge off the other world and implementing the strategies.
And of course we're at the part for the English dub where he is at war with basically the extended military of that nation. He goes to war with two-thirds of the external branches, and ends up coming out on top. And now one of the neighboring countries that was expecting this to happen starts to invade his territory, and before they can even act, he's already taken out two-thirds of his opposition that were on his side and on the move to the capital city of the invading nation. And it's like, how did all that happen? And how did even in the show they're like, how did he have the foresight to think that far ahead and expect that to happen? And it was just amazing to watch. And as I started to mention, we got to see, the wonderful Lali waifu, Jahi-sama. Have you started that one yet?
I'm mostly caught up. I think I haven't seen the most recent episode.
And it's not often, like we've seen many AniTubers, and we've even talked about it, where you don't see many tan-skinned or dark-skinned main characters or characters in anime in general. So getting to see, this adorable character, Jahi, even though another demon, but she's adorable, and it's like she goes from protect the little sister to ultimate waifu, just add magic.
It's a 2021 version, female version of The Devil is a Part-Timer per se.
Which Devil is a Part-Timer is coming out next year, I heard.
July.
So got something else to look forward to. Yay! And I know that they had, was it season 2 of My Next Life as a Villainess came out.
I started that one, but kind of fell off the radar.
Like you said, you also, your workload picked up quite a bit this year as opposed to years past.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of fell off from watching some of the other shows, but one show that I did watch that was absolutely adorable and annoying at the same time. Like, this show was a fantastic show to basically just be entertained. But my God, they had that one sequence that appeared in every show at least once, sometimes twice, that really you could have done without. I, and that is the drugstore in another world.
Hmm.
And like, the characters were cute. I enjoyed watching the show, but every episode he has to make a concoction, and they do some of this, like, it's the same music, and you get to see him make the same motions, and it's like, this is more annoying than watching Sailor Moon transform every episode.
Hmm. Everyone knows you only watch Sailor Moon transform for the transformation scene.
Well,
Yeah.
I've only seen like 4 or 5 episodes of Sailor Moon. Like, I saw as
That
far as Sailor Mercury, I think it was, the blue-haired girl, and that was it.
that's 5 more episodes than I've seen.
And then somebody, I don't remember who it was, it might have been Mario, who was like, you need to check out Love Live Superstar, which I had completely overlooked because the last Love Live I tried to even attempt was annoying, and I didn't even get like 2 episodes in, and I'm like, this is just garbage. But Love Live Superstar was actually, I put that in front of Love Live Sunshine. I thought it was phenomenal. The music, I think, is better than Love Live Sunshine. And I think it was a nice twist focusing on 5 girls instead of 9. And I know Love Live's still going on. I'm sure we're going to see more Love Lives come out in 2022. Going to see more School Idol girls coming out for the next, 4 or 5 years. Because it sells. But
Mm-hmm.
But really, Love Live Superstar, I if I were to rank it, I would say Love Live, the original, Love Live Superstar, then Love Live Sunshine. And that other abomination, I don't even know if I'd put that on the list. Sorry to the Love Live fans out there. That's just my opinion. Everybody has their own. And, throw the angry comments down below. I'll read them and I'll laugh at you. Be like, they make good points, but, still my opinion. Were there any shows that you paid attention to in the summer that I missed? Because I'm not seeing any others that I had watched. And then we come into the fall season, which we are wrapping up now. And there really wasn't a whole lot this season that like grabbed my attention, which is why I think I went back, and even though it's like, oh, fall animes, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go back and watch stuff from summer and spring that I overlooked. Although I will say that I know a lot of the big talk was on Demon Slayer Season 2 coming out. Did you get into the Demon Slayer hype at all, Darren? Oh, I think we lost Darren.
No, you haven't.
He was just focusing on other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get wrapped up in the Demon Slayer hype? The silence means no. And question in the chat room, asking how long have we been doing these shows? For almost 8 years. As far as the the podcasting side of things, I've been doing it since, I want to say 2009. I think I started with paranormal stuff. Mario says he dropped off about midway. I'm guessing that was on the Demon Slayer stuff. But stuff that's come out this season that I've been watching, that has been kind of entertaining. The Fruit of Evolution. Before I knew it, my life had it made. And it's a story of this, basically overweight, stinky, unpopular kid. And his entire school gets summoned into another world. Everybody but him gets summoned first. He comes in, he ends up getting sucked in later, and ends up starting to eat, to survive. He eats these, what's called Fruit of Evolution, and his body changes over time. He starts getting stronger, thinner, better looking. Ends up falling in love with a gorilla. If that doesn't grab your attention, I don't know what will. The gorilla said, he defeats a boss in a cave. The gorilla suddenly turns into a naked, beautiful woman. Anime logic. Is that what you're waiting for, Darren? You need to fall in love with a gorilla? I think we are starting to lose Darren. He's there and he's not. But the show itself has been pretty entertaining. And then we have Restaurant to Another World Season 2, which I forgot how good of a show that was. And Season 1 seemed like a bunch of mishmash stuff going on. And you don't realize how much story, the line that they are trying to develop with a lot of random characters until it really got going. And like the most recent episode, you kind of could see things leaning the way that it went. But when it actually happened, it was like, wait, what? And I would recommend this show to anyone. And going back to Demon Slayer, Mario says that he dropped off about midway, not because the show is bad or anything. It's really good, but something about it just doesn't grab me. Which I feel the same way, Mario. I tried watching it. My wife was like, "Oh, you got to check it out. It's fantastic." I tried watching it. I think I got 6 episodes in. I'm like, it doesn't do anything for me. And like I said, it's not a bad show. The problem that I have with a lot of these like bigger named shows is, I everybody gravitates towards certain shows, and I lose interest in them because you have the feeling that it's going to be one of those long drawn out shows. YouTuber Giga put out a video recently that said it's hard to hate this video, and it was very comical to watch because he talks about a bunch of random opinions out there, and a lot of them I agreed with, including being like, I think he badmouthed One Piece, being like, this show has over 1,000 episodes. You can't finish a story in 1,000 episodes. How bad of a writer are you? Which, that's Gigic's view, not mine, before I start getting all the hate. And it was kind of funny to, look back at that and be like, shows like that, just if they have a ton of filler episodes, I'm going to lose interest. Fairy Tail's a perfect example. That show went on forever, it felt like. I watched 100-something episodes, and I was like, okay, I've seen this arc with like 4 other like characters multiple times. You're kind of losing me here. And so I didn't stay with it to the end. At first, the concept was great. The characters were fun. I'm still a fan. Like Urza, I still think is one of the best girls in the show. I know Lucy got a lot of love, but I was like, nah. And Happy and Carla, the cats were adorable, but sometimes you need to just, especially if it's going to be a longer running show, you got to keep my interest. Otherwise, I'm going to move on. There's too many animes out there to get sucked into a long running series for me, anyway. So that's my thought on some of those longer running shows. Looking back for more of is there anything else this season that I am watching? I mean, there was a few things that kind of had my interest, but I kind of fell away from, or I haven't given it a shot. I'm trying to look through. I know that there's been some random stuff that has come out. And I'm surprised I didn't see it. There was a anime that came out this year about hockey, which is an unusual sport to see thrown out there. What is this show? I don't remember this one. Oh, World's Finest Assassin. Okay, I have started that one. That one was a good one as well. And that show is actually kind of interesting. I gotta get back to catch up. And it's an interesting storyline of an assassin who is getting ready to retire from the assassin life to become a trainer, basically train future assassins for the same organization that he's been a part of his entire life. They then kill him. He gets assassinated, reincarnated in another world as an infant into an aristocratic family of assassins. His only job is to kill one person, and he's got a short set of time to do it, but he has to wait before he can do that. He gets to choose his own abilities, and it really was kind of an interesting storyline to get into the start of. So curious to see where that goes. I've definitely got to get back into watching more of that. I have not stayed with that as much as I would have liked to, or as much as I should have. And I think that's about it for the shows this year that I have been watching. And like I said, I think we've lost Darren. So, short show tonight. As I said, we want to do a quick little year in review, look back at the shows from this year, some of our favorites, some of the highlights. Like I said, probably if I had to say my vote for like best show of the year, I'm not sure. I lean towards, and this is just me personally because of how like going beyond just the show, but like the meaning behind it. Like I put Kobayashi's Dragon Maid in the running for one of like the top 3 shows of the year. Probably best show I have watched. Maybe not show of the year, but best show I have watched is the one that I just went on that long rampage about with how a realist hero rebuilt the kingdom. I think that might be my underdog of the year. Even though there are so many other good shows out there, I think I would put that as one of my favorite underdogs of the year. But still, after a 2020 where animes, kind of petered off, and you still had great shows in 2020, but the amount that came out, and a lot of stuff got delayed because of COVID and everything, to see 2021 start off so strong, it was a little disappointing, but at the same time, it felt good after, a strong winter having a ton of shows to watch, and then spring, a ton of shows to watch, back to back, unbelievable, seasons. Summer kind of fizzled out a little bit, and fall, like I said, I think I'm watching 3 shows, and I took the time to go back and watch shows from other seasons that I overlooked. So, I mean, it's hoping 2022 starts off strong. It would be nice to bounce back up to see a ton of shows again, but we'll see what happens. We're going to call that a night. This is a special year in review look back at what 2021 has brought. We'll probably do another one of. And Mario says, it's not just me. I'm watching 3 shows this season. I'm watching 3 shows this season, I believe it is. Because, like I said, I started, World's Finest Assassin. I've been keeping up with Fruit of Evolution and Restaurant to Another World. And I don't think I'm watching anything else. Selection Project kind of had me intrigued, but I haven't had the desire to start it. And Pride of Orange is the one about hockey, which I have not really looked into that one either. So we'll see what happens. But until Saturday, when we come back for our last show of the year, and we are excited to have our friend Christy Rothrock joining us again. I know we're going to look at doing a voice actor roundtable, but after giving it a lot of thought, Christy has joined us twice before in the past, and every time she's been on with somebody else. So we wanted to be able to focus on Christy and her career. So she is going to be our guest of honor. She did say that her family has some holiday stuff planned, so she's not going to be able to hang out for the full 2 hours, but we probably could get her for an hour or so, and it's going to be a lot of fun. You definitely want to check that out. Thank you to everybody for tuning in tonight for our special year in review of the animes and our AZR shows. Until Saturday night, have a wonderful night. Stay safe, and we'll talk to you on Saturday.